Hello, chat. Welcome to the Monday night Kerbal stream. Tonight, the plan is to do a little bit of a MUN mission. So if you have any questions about that, also, hi, Score Gaming BTW. Thanks for stopping by once again. Always appreciate it when people show up for Kerbals. It is a great game. But before we get started, we'll let some people trickle in here, but I've got something I want to show everybody. Something a little strange. So, everybody knows about Patreon, right? What if I told you that there is a Patreon out there where you can pay $500 a month to get a 20-minute private VR chat session with the person that you're supporting? Well, I don't know about you, but that sounds like a pretty good deal. So, guys, watch out for my upcoming Patreon, where you can pay $500 a month. Wait, what is the other thing you get? Oh, you can DM me twice every day. And I guarantee 2 daily responses. How nice. $500 a month, you can send 2 messages. Unbelievable. But enough about that. Let that rattle around in your brain. Hey, it's Lupus. Hey, Lupus. Thanks for stopping by for some Kerbals. Oh, Cat has come to say hello. Everybody say hi to Cat. Yes, I know. I know how much you love Kerbals. So for those of you who missed the Saturday stream, we had a lot of fun. Lupus says hi. We had a lot of fun. I actually want to show this off because this is probably the coolest thing I've ever done in this game. And the fact that I was just kind of messing around Saturday morning makes it even better. So everybody check this out. This is the XK1 Kraken. It's a pretty normal looking plane, right? You know, you've got a cockpit, you've got some engines, the wings and stuff. Silver's here. Hey, Silver. What if I told you that this thing likes to fly Ascender? Hello, Owlite26. All right, let's break that. Thanks for stopping by the channel tonight, Owlite. I'm not sure what you're referring to with the Ascender, but... So this is the XK1 Kraken. And this bad boy is a pretty great little plane. Check this out. I'm gonna turn the throttle on. Notice that the engines are not turned on. Curious, isn't it? It's a little out of control on the runway, but once it gets into the air, no sound, completely silent aside from those landing gear folding up. Look at the acceleration on this thing. This is absolutely bonkers. If you've ever played KSP, you'll know something is wrong here. No cheats, no commands. Look at that. We're pushing up against the sound barrier already. So, you're probably wondering, what is the secret? What am I doing? What is the secret inside of this cargo bay? Well, let's revert to the launch and I'll show you what the secret is. Turn on the brakes, open up the bay. This right here is what I call the Kraken drive. And it utilizes an interesting physics quirk in the game to take these docking port juniors and these docking port juniors, and they want to go together, but I don't let them go together. So what they do is they generate a magnetic force. Yeah, this one flies via magic outlay. They generate a magnetic force that I can control using the throttle. So I extend it out, and you'll notice as I get closer, they start to speed up until finally we're off to the races. And I can shut it off just as easily. Hit the brakes and slow it down. Perfectly controllable and no fuel needed. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. All right, let's head back to the main campaign and get started. I thought Silverhand was not a minor. You shouldn't be able to adopt him. That's not how these things work. Anyway, so tonight we are going to the Mun. If you have any questions, this is going to be a relatively laid back stream. I'm not doing anything super crazy. Let's see. I mean, we could send up a telescope, I guess. But that's going to take a while. And for only 161, we'll do it. Yeah, we'll take these. It's fine. We're going to end up doing those anyway. All right. But what do we have that can land on Mun? I don't even remember what most of these ships do, because I haven't been using them. I think the Inquisitor can. I mean, it's not pretty, but it would get the job done. I think we went with the Munlander. Duh. That's pretty clearly tells you what it does. Hey, Alaska has me beat. On what? People who watch the stream? Because yeah, pretty much everybody has me beat. I'm still a very tiny baby streamer. Oh, you mean for the cold? Yeah, probably today. It was pretty nice today. And who are we gonna send? Oh, we got no pilots. Oh my gosh. All right. Mission is canceled. Cancel everything. We're out of pilots. How much for a pilot? Okay. How much to upgrade? How much to buy a pilot? There is one pilot, and it's going to cost 339,000. Well, gotta do what you gotta do, right? Let's prep the mission. Begin breeding sequence. Yeah, kind of, right? I think canonically Kerbals reproduce asexually. I shouldn't say that. I don't know what the canon is. We were theorizing that earlier today. All right, so this is Aldos Kerman. We're gonna send, we'll just send the full complement. Pilot, scientist, engineer. We need to take anything in the cargo bay. Yeah, we'll take a EVA experiments kit, and that should be good. Actually, you know what? If we're taking the full setup, we could take the passive seismometer. What is this thing? I was gonna say we could set up a ground base. Needs to deploy central whatever. Yeah, whatever. We'll make a little base. And we need the voltaic panels and the control station. Perfect. So there's everything we need. Wait, oh, there was lag that made it funny. Okay, but Alaska's a big state, Vulcan. And obviously, if you're around like Juneau or the coast, it's going to be a lot more mild of a climate than the interior, or if you're up near the Arctic Circle, right? It does not get that cold here. The coldest I've seen it get is around -40, which is cold, but not, I mean, it's gonna kill you, but it's not awful. You can deal with it. We live in houses, we're not animals. And pilot, scientist, engineer, that's all we should need. I know for a fact this thing can land on Mun, so let's just go ahead and launch. Again, if you have any questions, feel free, ask away. I'm just gonna play completely normally, nothing fancy. No magic drives tonight, aside from that one demonstration. That's on a different save though. So no problems there. Here we go, liftoff. I should get around to redesigning this at some point in the future as well. Because right now, it's just, you know, big rocket, stick it up and down, whatever. The lander could use some work. The main stage could probably use some side boosters or something. It's at least cheap. Have I seen the map of Alaska overlaid on the continental United States? I feel like I've seen that in the past that shows how absolutely enormous it is. So yes, I'm gonna say yes, I have seen that. Not recently, but I've definitely seen it. Kind of like I've seen the picture where they take Europe, the US, and China and then stick them all in Africa to show the mind-boggling scale. Just how big Africa is, and it is huge. Like, you think they got Egypt and South Africa and some jungle in between, but really it's just ridiculous. Oh, we're getting some surface heating here. Oh, perfect. So that cut out right around the time we would expect it to. Switch to secondary stage. And we should be able to finish up this circularization pretty quickly. Well, let's actually slow down. Get our time to apoapsis down a bit. Can't watch because connection is bad. Well, yeah, you guys are driving around watching on your phone. But yeah, have a good time doing DoorDash. For the rest of you who are still here, tonight's discussion topics once again include movies, video games, a very special upcoming birthday, and of course Valentine's Day is upon us once again. I hope you've all got your plans locked in. We've only got about a week to go here. But let's say we start. What's everybody been playing? I have been, obviously I've been playing the games that I've been streaming. Playing a lot of Magic the Gathering Arena because I don't know, I'm basic. I like card games. And Magic is the one that I have on my phone. Vulcan doesn't celebrate Valentine's Day. Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of people do that. I don't celebrate it, I recognize that it exists and try to do something interesting, which I guess is essentially the same as celebrating, right? Your anniversary is January 23rd? Well then. So the anniversary is too close to Valentine's Day, so you don't bother going out of your way to do anything else. That's fair. It is kind of weird to stick all your romantic stuff on one day out of the year, right? A little concerned with this launch here. I might have been a little too eager to get to apoapsis, but I think we'll be fine. We should have plenty of Delta V. We only need to get up to about 2,400. Oh boy. You gotta watch out for that kind of stuff, right? Well, this is just dumb. You'd think I'd be good at launching by now, but here I am, just completely biffing it. Yeah, my thrust to weight's not great here. I should have kept burning instead of letting it get this low, because now we're gonna have an issue. So, video games. Like I said, been playing Magic the Gathering. And played a little bit of Dead Cells over the weekend. That was what we played on Friday. I thought I'd pop in for a run or two and practice a bit. Did not go well. I died almost immediately. That's not true. I think I beat the first boss and then I died in the Stilt Village. Oh, okay, we're starting to come around here. Good deal, good deal. Let's see if we can get our Periapsis up a bit. Nice. Alright, so I saved the mission a bit. Oh, there we go. So there we go. Looks like we're going up once again. Good. So, I've been playing... I played a little Dead Cells. I played another game, 100 Year Kingdom, that I picked up on Steam. A fun little puzzle town planning type game. I don't really know how to describe it. I thought it was going to be very simplistic, and then I played through it, and there's a lot going on. It's a, I think it might be a Chinese or a Japanese game that recently got a translation. It's one of those. It's like $12, not bad. And I tried to start a couple campaigns of X-Pirates over the weekend, but they did not go well, so I'm back out of that once again. And that's about it for me. I am still looking into some other games that I want to play. Apparently I'm going to have to play the new Pokemon game because everybody's raving about it, which I thought we learned our lesson from last time, guys, that Pokemon is dead. But apparently they being Game Freak has done something surprisingly good for once, despite the graphics. Oh, that's true. Emmykins has been playing Animal Crossing, and she finally got all the fruits because she went over to Urban Ventures Island and stole them while he wasn't looking. But it was very nice of him to let her go onto the island and snag those, because she's been looking for a long, long time. So yeah, Pokemon. That would be kind of fun to play on stream, although the hype's probably died down at this point. But I still need to get a capture card. And in addition to that, I also need to get a dedicated webcam or camera or whatever. Because as you can see, I don't have my webcam tonight because I don't have my wife's phone, which means I need my phone to watch chat, which means I can't use my phone as a camera, yada, 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 excuses, excuses. That's where we're at now. So I know it's disappointing every time you don't get to see my face. It's a sad story, but that's the world we live in. So let's take a look at our orbit here. So once we get to apoapsis, we can circularize and then set up the maneuver to get out to Mun. In fact, I can go ahead and time warp here. Also, I am trying out a new microphone placement. I was getting really frustrated with it blocking the screen, so I actually moved it down below me, so it's below the screen. So let me know if you notice any changes. The major change should be that if you have a stereo setup or headphones or whatever, you should be able to hear me on the correct side of the microphone that I am talking into now. Because I had it flipped upside down previously. Now I have it flipped right side up. That's probably really important for, you know, ASMR and stuff like that. Less important for my Kerbal Space Program stream. And there we go. We are circularized. Let's set up our, is it 830? No, 820. Or 860? 860 sounds right. There we go. Let's take a look at the MUN. All right, there we go. I'm going to call that a pretty decent looking orbit. Well, if nobody has any other games to talk about, I can tell you guys about the movie, or in this case, movies that I watched over the weekend. As you guys know, I've been having Sunday night movie nights with my wife. This is our third week of it. And last night we watched a double feature of Adventures in Babysitting and Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. So two kind of diametrically opposed stories of babysitting. One where the main character is a good, or at least not awful, babysitter, and one where the babysitter dies and the kids have to fend for themselves. So Vulcan says, once I get Jeb home or killed, try not to get him killed, I need to go back and practice getting to orbit again and so forth. Yes. Those are very important basic skills to learn. In addition to being able to kind of get to orbit, you also need to know what to do when things go wrong. Like you saw me do. I didn't make it to orbit initially, but I knew how to correct and fix it, so there wasn't any issues. So what we're going to do here is we're going to set up our, whatever this stage is, the middle stage, to be on a collision course with MUN. And then we'll use our upper stage or final stage to get to MUN, circularize, and then land, and then finally return. And then Vulcan, if you have any questions about the return, then let me know and I'll try to go over them as I'm doing it. All right, so once we finish this burn, I'm going to have everybody hydrate, or I guess you can preemptively hydrate if you want to, because I am getting kind of thirsty from all this. I say all this, it's been 20 minutes of talking tonight. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go prograde, or retrograde, sorry. And we're going to ditch this stage so it's on a collision course. Like so. There we go. And then we're going to go, oh, no, retrograde is correct, I believe. We just need to burn retrograde for a few seconds. Also, I need to stage that engine. There we go. And that'll raise our periapsis to about 26,000 is good. So everybody hydrate. Much better. Then, now that that's done, we can go ahead and time warp. Set up the little encounter here. Really wish it didn't default to 1 minute. That's way too much. And there you have it. Also, we'll need to, once we land on Mun, I need to check back in on our Minmus miner. Because I left it there last week and I haven't checked in on it since we landed it. And I would like to see how it's doing as far as whether it's done mining yet. All right, now we just need to get to periapsis. We'll do, I don't know, like 3 minutes. Should give us enough time. And you should see this debris go ahead and collide with Mun. Like so. A little bit close to our work site here, but that's fine. Not close enough to worry about. And then we need to, oh, right. This is a level 0 pilot, so he can't do anything. Now we'll get him trained up. Alrighty then. I think we're a little far out. That should be a little bit better. All right, go retrograde. So remember, retrograde is essentially burning backwards, which is what you want to do if you're trying to slow down. Because in space, there is no resistance. So anytime you want to speed up or slow down or change what direction you're going, you have to expend fuel. Which is what we're doing here. And the main thing we want to keep in mind is that it takes, I want to say about 600 delta V to land on the Mun, and then another 600 to get off. And then another around 300 to get back to Kerbal. Hey, Ash. Stopping by once again. I know it's not Dead Cells, but I do appreciate that you're here. Did we decide that's my nickname, The Streamer? I think it needs a trademark after that. The Streamer TM. Like the band. You guys know about the band? I'm sure Vulcan knows about the band. They're an older group, I believe. Speaking of bands, so I don't listen to a lot of music, but there are a few bands that I really enjoy, I don't know, listening to when I need a song for a short amount of time. And I've been listening to a lot of Queen lately. And man, it's a bummer that Freddie Mercury died. Because Queen is still touring. He could just be alive right now and be in the band, and they'd still be touring as a group. Who is the band? That's the name of the band. They're the band. I couldn't tell you any of their songs, but it's a band that exists. How has the stream going? That's a great question. How has it going? I would say it's going pretty normal for a Monday night Kerbal stream. Obviously, I'm not, Germa or Limmy or one of those big streamers. But I like to think that I can hold my own. Lol 7. Oh, is that a 7 TV emote? I don't have that installed or set up. Germa. What? Everybody likes Germa, right? He's a meme around here. Honestly, if somebody told me that they were just coming to my stream to wait for Germa to start his stream, I would legitimately feel honored that they chose my stream as their waiting room. It's like being the opening act for like a huge band or someone. Like, come see the Rolling Stones, opening act Star Shard Zero, playing his harmonica. I would feel great about myself. All right, I think that's enough circularizing. We need to pick a landing site. Where have we haven't been to this crater yet, have we? I've got all the flags down. So yeah, we'll go to this one. That'll be a good change of pace. All right, let's loop it around. Okay, SAS is off. You watch Finding the New Germa? Name generator lets you name, in KSP at least, it lets you name one of the ships or the vessel we're currently flying. So that's, it's like that for every other game too. But it just changes depending on the game what you can actually change the name of. All right, so we need to go normal here. No, that's anti-normal. There we go. And a normal. What that's going to do is it's going to adjust our orbit so we're going up like this. And we don't want to spend too much on it because every meter per second that we burn here is 1 less meter per second we have. So we're just going to try to get the bottom edge of this crater. And to that end, we're going to need, oh, wrong one again. We're also going to need to slow down a little bit more. Like so. So we'll set our collision point. I shouldn't call it a collision point. Basically our intersect with the surface to be right around here, and then we'll try to land somewhere in here. And with that, we will have completed another successful Mun landing, which I believe is one of our many important things. Oh, wait, I have more science data. I thought we did that one. Oh, we didn't transmit it. Okay, we'll need to go back to Duna tonight then and do that. Because I think we landed and then just kind of said we're done for the night, and then I haven't been back there since. All right, let's get those landing legs ready. There we go. That doesn't seem correct. Like this? Yes, there we go. You're at 3K channel points. Ooh, what are you gonna make me play? I'm excited. I like to hear what people want me to play. Because I have a lot of games. So if it's something that I don't have, it must be something pretty great. Or really awful. No in between. Oh, this thing doesn't even have a seismometer on it. Should probably revisit the design of this thing at some point. Do I have a list of games that I own? The closest thing would be my Steam profile, because that's where most of my games are. I can see if I can get that linked. Otherwise, you can just ask in chat if I own something or not. It's kind of, you know, inefficient, but it's currently the best way that I have to do it. I should see about getting a spreadsheet set up or something, or a Google sheet that everybody can look at. So they can just search if I have a game or not. Right. I think we can speed up time a little bit here. We just need to keep an eye as we come over this crater. We can start thinking about where we're going to land. All right. Can I integrate chat to Twitch? Chat to Steam to Twitch? I don't think there's a widget or anything like that. I can look into it. There are quite a few plugins you can get. But when I was looking at the plugins, I didn't see anything that I was super interested in. so I didn't actually put any on the channel. I try to keep things as sort of stripped down as possible for the stream, which is why I don't have an overlay or anything. I feel like it might distract from the stream, although I know a lot of people use them to great effect. But especially something like putting the chat on the stream, I'm not sure what the purpose is, I guess, so when you upload it to YouTube, they can kind of keep up with the chat. But I don't think it's that big of a deal. We are coming in here. So let's go ahead to switch to surface mode and just slow down a lot because we're going awfully fast. Last thing you want to do is hit the ground at 500 meters a second. Oy, oy, oy. You know, there's a lot of things. Oh, put your Steam library to Twitch chat. Oh, the Twitch chat. Yeah, let me see if I can find, because I know there's a website that has a list, or like you can put in someone's username and it'll show you a list of all the games they own. I'll see if I can bring that up and just link it in chat for you, if that'll make your life easier. Because that's a huge difference in points, right? Because essentially I had to put the discrepancy, because if I gotta buy a new game, I gotta charge more for it. Slowing it down, slowing it down. This looks like it's working pretty well. We're gonna land somewhere around here, probably. Yeah, looking good. So we'll get down to maybe 100 meters per second here, and then cut off the engine, and then sort of coast probably until we get to around 5,000 meters. And then we'll start worrying about our specific landing site. Well, Vulcan Rider wants me to watch Charade. Oh no, you gave her an idea for this weekend for our movie night. I don't like old movies, they're so boring. Alright, there's 5,000 meters. We'll turn on the engines again. And this time we will keep them on and just feather them back if we need to slow down. Or if we're going too slow and we need to speed up. Let gravity take hold. Okay. Slowing it down. Astromaster 123. Who's the genius behind this rocket? Why, that would be me, Star Shard Zero. And welcome to the channel, Astromaster 123. If you think this rocket is great, just wait till you see my Kraken powered design. Alright, that's enough of that. I think I may have gone too far in a few places. We're way too high up. What's wrong with my SAS? You mean why isn't there any additional things? Because this is a level 0 pilot. All right, so we're just gonna drift gently down, and I guess wait till we're around 1,500 meters up and then fire up the rocket. And that should about cover us. There we go. Like, you want to slow down, but you don't want to slow down too much. Why aren't the Kerbals excited? I mean, Lehman over here seems pretty excited. But I don't know what their personalities are. Some of them are more liable to get excited than others. All right, we're coming in for a landing. Let's do this. Coming in for a landing. I think the tolerance on these legs is pretty high, but I prefer to land under 5 meters per second. So we're gonna go for that. Ooh, we got some stuff over there. we'll have to head over and check it out. And slow it down even more. We're under 100 meters now. Perfect. We're coming in for a nice, gentle touchdown. And I believe we have more than enough Delta V to get back. Beautiful. All right. So there you go, Vulcan. That's your lesson for this evening. And what was the mission? Oh, not Eve. Science data from surface of the month. So we'll go ahead and send some pressure data. No. Send the crew report. Starting transmission. And we're good. So that is that mission done. Plant the flag. We can do that real quick. Who do we want to do that? Probably our pilot, since he's the one that's most likely going to be going on further missions. But we want him to have the most experience. So this is our brand new pilot, Aldos. Get a look at our surroundings. There's one rock. There's one surface feature. Thank you, Astromaster. That was a beautiful landing. Let's actually, what is this place called? Deviate. Northwest Crater. Got it. So this, yeah, Emmykins, clip it. Northwest Crater. And Aldos was here. Way to go, Aldos. What else can we get? We can get a surface sample. And I suppose we should head over and grab that rock while we're here. Although I think we've already got one, so that might not do anything. Let's use the, go ahead and use the EVA pack here. I wonder if you can actually do this on the moon, like Earth's moon. If they make EVA packs powerful enough to fly around. I'm sure they do, right? When they first landed on the moon, I keep trying to say mun. When they first landed on the moon, I feel like they were jumping around a lot. Our Astromaster wants to know what I think Kerbals are made of. I believe they are sort of a sentient algae, which is why they thrive so well in what's the word I'm trying to think of? Pick up Munstone. They don't need food, right? So they're photosynthetic. Okay, well, we'll keep it anyway, even though we've already got it. And they don't have bones, which is how they're able to survive intense impacts and survive huge G-forces. They're kind of like orcs, right? Orcs are from 40k. They're a fungus of some kind. They reproduce by budding. And Kerbals are pretty similar. They're green. They're squishy. They're a little bit crazy about machinery. And yes, Ash is right. They're made of matter. They're made of some kind of matter. That's all we can infer. Well, guys, my cat is really, really interested in finding out what's under the couch. So if I have to step away for a moment, that's why. You're able to make a custom command to show the Steam library. Oh. Oh, yeah, I can make a custom command. It would just be a link, though. I'm not going to type the whole library out in chat. That would take up the whole chat. I've got, I think, over 500 games on Steam. All right, we're back. All right, we need to set up a base. Oh, we'll do that later. No, we'll do it now. What am I saying? I can make a whisper window open with list. Oh, man. Won't flood chat. Yeah, I suppose if it's just a whisper window. All right. Well, before we do that, let's get all the data. And I believe we need the engineer to set up. This is the central thing, right? Can I not put this in? All right, well, let's get on the surface first, then we'll try it out. Oop. Okay. I gotta remember that I can't trust ladders in this game. I've had too many problems. So put that in there. That. Swap it out. Okay. So we'll just plop the central control unit right there. It's all set up. Very cool. And we should, if I'm correct, we should be facing, yeah. So because Mun is tidally locked, we should always be facing Kerbal. So next we need to set up the solar panels. We can do right here. And then we'll set up that other experiment. So tell me more about this really easy to make chat command. Because it sounds fun. Maybe like that. There it goes. A cool folding design. All right, and then finally we need the scientist to set up the experiment. So make sure that Lehman here gets her stuff back. Parachute and EVA pack. The roulette chat command is a Twitch chat minigame that has a chance to time out the user who uses the command. Oh, how exciting. What do you win? Or is it just there's a chance to get timed out? Because that's, if there's no benefit, then I guess it's just for the lulz. All right, this is Anfraud, one of our mini scientists. I want to say he's the one that was up on the KSS before we decommissioned it, but I can't remember that far back. That far back being last week. If you don't get times, you win. What do you win? You just win that you didn't get timed out, but you didn't have to play the game to begin with. So really, you just played yourself. All right, this, what is this one? The ionographer. All right, so it just sits here, does nothing. Gotcha. Okay, I guess we'll let it do its thing. Yeah, you show that thing, Anfraud. Do you win with real roulette when the gun... Oh, it's Russian roulette. Okay. Well, because there's an actual game called roulette in the casino. And in fact, we've talked about this on the channel before. How badly I want to play Spelunky 2 with the death roulette. But, as always, it's a logistical issue. We need to get more people. Russian roulette, not table roulette. Gotcha. Okay. So that's all set up. I guess we can retract the ladder and just take off. All right, Vulcan. If you're paying attention, we are now going to lift off from Mun and return to Kerbal. This mission is complete. So I'll give you a second to get in a nice comfy position. Put on your learning cap, and we will learn how to do a successful return mission from Mun. All right, we're gonna take off now. Let's go. Whoop. Yeah, there are a lot of chat commands that are just there for laughs, I think. I don't know why. I guess some people find them funny. I prefer to keep chat as dedicated to chatting as I can, though. So I don't use any of those. And yeah, I can make a custom one. I know I've made, there's a couple of custom commands. At some point I need to get around to making a commands command so you can actually see what they all are. Ooh. All right, let's go full throttle here. We're gonna get up. Our apoapsis could probably be around 20 kilometers. Should be good enough. Yeah, I haven't made that one yet. I said I have to get around to doing it. You guys forget I have a real job that I have to do. You know what? I'll do it after the stream tonight. How about that? I'll head over to Moobot and set it up. I'm not sure what good it'll do since there's only 3 commands, but then you'll at least know there's only 3 commands and won't try a bunch of other ones. What I wanted to do that I thought might be fun is make a secret word command where it would generate a secret word. So if you typed in !secret, it would whisper you what the secret word is. And then if I said the secret word during the stream, you could say, hey, you said the secret word, and then, you know, you'd get recognized. But I'm not sure what a good way to do that is, because I'd have to update the secret word every day, and if I update it, I know what it is. Although I guess that makes sense that I would know what it is, because then I would know when I said it. And then if you called it out, you would also know. I didn't do EVA science, dang it. I always forget about that one. Or use a most used word generator connected. Yeah, I could do that. But that would be stuff like the. It should be more. Should be a little more game dependent, I think. Like if I said retrograde was the secret word, whenever, and as soon as I said retrograde during this stream, somebody could say, oh, you said the secret word, and then, you know, that's it. Set them to not use nouns and so on. Well, I would want it to use nouns. I wouldn't want it to use articles. Like the. Okay. Speed up time here. That was an example of the restrictions. Wait, did you find one already? Where do you find all this stuff? That's pretty quick on the draw. There's our East Crater site down there. So we have left the Northwest Crater. We've passed the East Crater. Heading around to... Oh, this, I guess, is the front, still the front side, the light side of the Mun, if you will. All right, time to go prograde and circularize our orbit. Why is this important? It's not super important if you know which direction you need to burn. But sometimes you don't want to go directly from the surface back to Kerbal, in which case it's always better to get into a nice orbit around the body that you're on before you do anything from there. Ash is a Googler, huh? That's actually, you know what? That's such a useful thing to be able to do. I've worked with so many people, and it's usually older people, but not always, who simply, if they don't know how to do something, have no idea how to figure it out. And I can say, just go on Google and look it up. And they'll look at me like I'm crazy. It's 2022. There's WikiHow, although we know about WikiHow, right, chat? There's Wikipedia, there's YouTube, there are other websites, I suppose, that exist. I don't know about them, but I assume they do. And they'll tell you exactly how to do the thing that you need to do. No muss, no fuss. So yes, being able to Google things, while it seems obvious to us, forums. Yeah, remember forums, guys? Oh, I do remember forums. I used to spend a lot of time on forums back in the day. And I know they're still around, but it's not the same. Everybody's on Twitter or Instagram or whatever. Yes, top secret government documents. Classified stuff from the NSA. You want it? It's on Google. All at your fingertips. Let's get our app this up a little bit more. I think we're safe over 20,000 meters, but can't hurt. All right, now we're going to... Actually, I think we can just stay in an orbit for a bit. We don't need to go back right away. So let's take this opportunity to check in on the Min Miner, our mining vessel over on Minmus, and see how it's doing. And let's check mission control here. Plant flag on Gilly. All right, we'll take that one. Plant flag on Ike. We have 25 years to do it. Gives us an advance though, so let's take it. Don't think we're going to build a new orbital station around Gilly with 5,000 units of ore. That one is not happening. If you Google, it will break the internet. That is definitely not true, but I'm sure you already knew that. Oh, another thing we need to do is ride these debris down. Actually, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to terminate them. We know that they entered the atmosphere. We don't need to worry about it. All right. So the Duna lander is still here. The Min Miner is here. Let's check in on it. I've never seen the IT, or is it the IT crowd or just IT crowd? I've never seen it, whatever the name of it is. But I see a lot of things on it, about it, online. Like quotes and memes and stuff. Do we just speed up time until we run out of power? Maybe so. Oh, we're full on ore. What the heck? All right, let's turn off the drills. And we'll go ahead and warp to sunlight. And we're on Minmus, so that shouldn't take too terribly long. KSP really is a beautiful game. And I know a lot of people use mods to make it look even nicer, but I think it looks great as is. This is unmodded. There is nothing fancy going on here. My settings are, I think my settings are just high or whatever the above normal is. And the game just looks great. There's some, obviously there's some weird glitches, like how the sun will just stay there and shrink back if you do that, but whatever, it's a Unity game. What do you expect? Used to be an IT manager, Ash? That sounds fun, question mark? I never got into IT. I feel like that would be a good job for me, but I ended up being an accountant instead. So that's what I do now. And it's okay. It's not great. It's not the best job in the world. And not the worst either. I'm sure there are much worse jobs out there. Let's get some electric power, please. Still not yet. All right, speed up time. Come on. There we go. Let the power commence. And we want to get liquid fuel and oxidizer. Wait. What's this about cold calling? I just realized that the my solar panels are not ideally where they should be. Let's retract the drill and do a little spin maneuver here. And turn it off. And just gently let Minmus's gravity do the rest of the work for us. All right, so that should give us much better solar coverage now. There we go. Nice and squishy. Oh, good. Oh, it's still going to. Send out the drills. So this is good practice for what it's going to be like on Gilly, which, as you guys know, is going to be one of the ultimate destinations for this mining device. We might need to tweak it a little bit because I need it to be able to carry more fuel, I think, if we're going to do what I need it to do. But for right now, this works great on Minmus. Astromaster says, there's a job where you have to smell armpits for 90K a year. Where is this job? That sounds like a great job. For 90K a year, I'll smell whatever you want me to. All right. Guess we can speed up time here. Boy, this sure is taking its sweet time. But you can see the numbers going up, which is great. That's exactly what we want to see. We want to get all the tanks nice and full, and then have all the ore tanks full as well. You could end up burning your nose sense receptors. I don't think that's possible. That, you know what? That is a great view. You can also see, hang on. You could see Mun, but I can't get in any closer now. Let's see. I was gonna say we could look out the window, but you can't really. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, you can see Mun too. It's a great multi-body shot. Hang on, you know what? While we're here, get a screenshot. Nice. All right, so there's a nice screenshot. Your nose sense receptors can die like taste buds? Really? Uh-oh. Older people and people who expose themselves to hot food end up eating more hot food. It kills the buds. The nose buds or your taste buds? Because I'm not a biologist. Let's get that out of the way. So I don't know any of this. But I found that I eat not a lot of hot food, but enough hot food, and it still causes trouble for me. So I don't know how long it takes for my taste buds to get burnt off or whatever, but it doesn't seem to be working. I thought I'd have acquired a tolerance for spicy foods by now. Like even something like chili will, if it's got too much seasoning in it, will just set my mouth on fire. I'm getting that feeling of hot because of the pain in the buds. So you're telling me that I feel pain because I'm in pain? That can't be right. How long? First of all, how long should it take to refuel the tanks? About a day, I guess, is fine. It's not like we're doing anything out here anyway. Doesn't really matter how long it takes as long as it gets done eventually. You have ideas? If I want. You know what? I am always open for suggestions because my goal is to grow and I have no idea how to do that. So if you're a Twitch regular, you're probably already in a better position than me. Oop, we're out of ore. Stop. Stop. Start surface harvest. I probably should have had this going the whole time now that I think about it. Reel them off. Yeah, let's hear them. Let's hear those ideas. I've got my notebook. I'm ready to write. Oop, bump the mic. I gotta get used to the new positioning. All right, here we go. Everybody. You gotta pay for the whole seat, but you're only gonna need the edge. Let's go. Number 1. All right. While we're waiting with bated breath for that, speed up time a bit. And that goes for everybody. Try land a lunar rover on Mun. Actually, yeah, that's true. I should really get a rover at some point. I don't usually use rovers because I've had issues with them in the past with their physics. But it might be worth a try. I think I've got all the parts that I need to make a rover. All right, so number 1, lunar rover, mooner rover. Oh boy. This sure is taking a long time, isn't it? Can I start the ISRU now? Start it. Oh yeah, it works. Try to get a Kerbal in orbit around Minmus with just mono. Just mono or just EVA? Because you can definitely do it with EVA. Mono would be super easy. So yeah, I've actually in the past I've built what are little speeder bikes with monopropellant that are a lot of fun to cruise around. Although they're hard to stop once you get going. It's kind of like, have you guys ever seen the lunar escape design that they put together if the astronauts for whatever reason couldn't get off the moon? They had these ridiculous little contraptions that they would strap into and it would shoot them up into orbit. Land on Eve and get some data. I've already landed on Eve, actually. I had that was my first interplanetary mission because that's what the game gave me. So I have a bunch of craft in orbit around Eve right now, and I need to go back and refuel them, which is what this thing is designed to do. I'm gonna land it on Gilly and then refuel all the craft that are out there, and then first of all, put them into a correct orbit, and second of all, send one of them home, because one of them is currently stranded out there. It's a return vehicle that doesn't have enough fuel to return due to some shenanigans. Like the movie, make a slingshot launcher on Minmus. Like a trebuchet? I think I saw somebody build a trebuchet out of stock parts on the subreddit one time. Pretty silly. I'll stop the ISRU again. To launch shuttles. Because actually, since this is already on Minmus, my plan was I would take it up into orbit, and then once the Eve transfer window comes around, I would use its position to slingshot around Kerbal and then launch off into an Eve intercept or rendezvous or whatever. So I have a lot of missions in the works, but for tonight, my plan was to wrap up some of the MUN stuff, which actually we already did. But what's next? We need to plant flags on various places. Fair enough. Make a rocket that is used. Oh, that's true. I do need to make a tourist rocket, although I haven't had any tourist missions in a while. I think they stop coming once you hit a certain reputation, which is kind of a bummer, because those are some of the more fun ones, right? You got to find a way to haul a bunch of Kerbals around. Sky Hotel. Make a save and nuke the space station. I can't actually save on this. This has this is hard mode, so there's no saving or reverting. It's all Iron Man style. But I do have some side saves for testing things. GG. I mean, that's the appeal, right? That's why you guys show up, because it's hard mode. All right, let's keep going. Start the ISRU. That's why I had to load up that other save to show off the Kraken drive, because I can't do that in my main game because it's taking advantage of the glitch to cheat. We show up to watch, you guys show up to watch me play. Well, at least some people do. Ore. We need, okay, now we just need the ore. So we'll just speed up time here. And once the sun goes down, we gotta shut down all the drills. And head on back to the Space Center. Hope to watch me fail. That's fine. You know what? If people want to watch me fail, I'm okay with that. As long as people are showing up, it doesn't matter what they're here for. Okay, complete the Minmus 6 voyage. Fly by the Mun, fly by Duna, fly by Ike, fly by Eve, fly by Minmus, and fly by Gilly. Oh boy. That is an interesting one. But I think... Ooh. I mean, it's just a flyby, right? That's a pretty solid challenge. And I get 23 years to do it. The only issue that I can see... It doesn't need to return either. So I could actually use my mining... one of my mining ships. Shoot an asteroid to hit Duna. Ooh. I haven't actually done very much with asteroids in this game. And in this career, I haven't even bothered with them just yet. So doing stuff with asteroids could be in the on the table here. So there is a damaged Duna satellite. All right, well, we do have some active ones. Let's head back to Duna and check in on our Duna lander. Astromaster wants me to succeed. Well, that's nice of you. Glad somebody here wants me to succeed. So the Duna lander is currently here. Now, you guys will remember, of course, that the Duna lander has just enough fuel to take off. So we didn't find any... Oh, what are those Duna stones? Oh, those are blueberries. Well, let's go get some blueberries, guys. I didn't even see those over there. Valentina, our intrepid explorer, our most senior pilot since Jeb's unfortunate demise. They're not even that far, are they? Looks like they're right there. All right, well, we're just gonna sprint Valentina over while I check chat. Let's see explosion. Ooh, you know what? After I finish up this, we'll head over to my test career. Yeah, for like the last part of the stream and see if we can't get some nice explosions going. One of the parts that I haven't really played around with is the fireworks that they added. And I kind of want to see what they look like. So we might throw some of those on a vessel and do a little fireworks display for the Kerbal Space Program. Why are there blueberries on Duna? It's a Mars planet. Well, I think they're just blue rocks. And I don't know why they're on Duna. I guess to contrast with the red. I don't know if it's a reference to something. It might very well be. All right, up the hill we go. Slowly, slowly. So for those of you who, everybody who's here, I guess right now it's just Ash and Astromaster who are in the chat. Astromaster, I know you're new, but Ash, have you been to one of my Tuesday night streams? Because they're not gaming streams, it's just chatting for the most part. But if you guys haven't seen the Tuesday night streams with possibly an alien, that is probably my favorite night of the week to stream. Which is saying a lot because I love streaming. Pick up blueberries. Yes, please. Just worried we wouldn't find any of these. So that's tomorrow, and it's over on my channel. We alternate back and forth. And Emmy, I know you're here. We alternate back and forth, but tomorrow we're on my channel, so look for me here. And apparently we're going to be looking at another strange house. So prepare yourselves. Alien has sent me the link, but I have not looked at it yet. But I asked her on her stream a little earlier what we were doing, and she said it was a weird house again. I'm very excited to check it out. And then next week, we'll be over on her channel, and I have the weirdest thing. I shouldn't say that because we've looked at some weird stuff. This is about... Are you guys familiar with cabots? Cat-rabbit hybrids? Well, trust me, you will be after next week's stream. You're going to know all about cat-rabbit hybrids and some other hybrid animals that you're probably even more unfamiliar with than the cat-rabbit. Well, that was a nice trek, Valentina. You got the blueberry. I'm glad we took a look around before taking off, because I was just going to take off, honestly. It would be nice if we could find a Duna stone as well, but I mean, is that just more blueberries? Just more blueberries over there. I don't know where we would find one. Does it say? Oh my goodness. Astromaster, thanks for the follow. What a fun night this has been. You are follower number 69. Congratulations. Very nice. Into the hatch you go, Valentina. So one last look around. You can kind of see where the things are because of the terrain or the terrain stuff. That's blueberries there. Oh, is that a Duna stone? That's a Duna stone, chat. And it's not too far. So I guess we'll make one more track for poor little Valentina here. And we'll make our way over there. So a few other things coming up on the agenda. It's Emmykin's birthday this... Well, is it? I actually need to look at a calendar. Anyway, but she gets to pick what I play this Friday, and I think she picked Monster Rancher. So we'll be doing Monster Rancher this Friday. So if you don't like that, you can blame her, but it's her birthday, so maybe save it till after. To be nice. And then, of course, Valentine's Day is next week. And we might play a Valentine's Day themed game if I can find one that is safe to play on Twitch. So, probably not, but maybe. We'll think about it. Other than that, I don't think there's anything coming up. At least not that I've written down here. Did we already talk about the new Pokemon game? Has anybody played it? That is willing to vouch for if it's a good game or not? Alright, hang on, I gotta double check this. That's blueberries. How far away was this thing? There it is. Alright, we're going the right way. Because like I said, I would like to play it, experience it for myself. But if I'm gonna stream it, I'll need to get a capture card. And honestly, I have no idea how to work with those. Be a whole new experience for me. But if I did get one, I could also hook up my PlayStation and play some Dark Cloud on stream, which would be super fun. That's a great game. And as for movies, what's coming? Is anything coming out this month, or do we have to wait for later this year for good stuff to start coming out again? So last good movie that came out was Spider-Man. That came out in December. And then of course January is dead for good movies. They just kind of dump whatever. The new Scream came out. February, same deal. And then I think March starts to pick back up again. And then for streaming stuff, what is coming out this year? Anybody watch the Book of Boba Fett? The Star Wars, the new Star Wars show on Disney Plus? Because I guess that's just what they're gonna do now, is make Star Wars shows. Where the heck did that thing go? There it is. Okay, that's a blueberry. There it is. All right, so it's right there. So we'll just focus on it so I don't lose it again. As you guys know, not a big fan of Star Wars here. So I don't have much to say about it other than I've heard it's not great. But that's pretty par for the course with the new Star Wars stuff, I think. Vulcan Rider wants me to watch Deep Space Nine. And did he say Babylon 5 as well? Nope. Oh, no, Emmykins is talking about Star Wars. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of ran out of things to talk about already. We're just watching Valentina sprint along the surface. I should really start planning the Jewel mission at some point, because that's going to be a major undertaking, and I've never actually been to Jewel in a career mode save. So this would be my first time putting together a craft, planning out a transfer window, deciding which moons I'm going to visit, what kind of science I'm going to get. I mean, the point that by the time I'm there, I'll have unlocked the whole science tree anyway, so it won't matter. But it will be a nice little achievement run. We can maybe go to the... What is the building that lets you change the rewards? You guys know what I'm talking about. I can change that so that I convert all my science directly into fundage, which would be huge. Because then, rather than getting a bunch of useless science, we can turn the science into useful money to get bigger and better ships and not have to worry about money as much. Oh, poor Valentina. She's been hoofing it this whole time. And are we almost there? Is that it? There it is. Okay. We are almost there. We only had to walk, what, 650 meters? What should you do if your cardboard plane is crashing? Are you in the plane now? If so, it's too late. I guess try to pull up. If you are flying the plane remotely, I would say let it crash and then try to figure out why it crashed. But if you would like specific advice regarding Kerbal Space Program planes, I can give you as much information as I have, but I'm not a big plane designer. I actually don't really care much for planes in this game because I don't think they have a lot of practical uses for the campaign. Early game, you're below water. So is it a plane or is it a submarine? Big surface, no, pick up Duna Stone, that's what I want. Was just checking your RimWorld chat integrated stream. Ooh, I actually have done that. It didn't get a lot of traction though, so I stopped. But once I have a larger regular audience, I would be happy to jump back into it. It's not my favorite game, but with the chat integration, it can definitely be a lot of fun. Plane. Okay, so it's a plane. Yeah, it is absolutely chaos. That was what I noticed. The events were much more difficult than in the vanilla game. Hey, Rainbow Yeti's here. He must have heard us talking about RimWorld. And yes, I would like to return to RimWorld. I just need I need enough people that are going to show up and participate that I can get away with them. Okay, so this is a Kerbal plane, right? So the thing about planes in KSP is that they suck. No. Well, that's true, but if you want to build them good, you have to dedicate a lot of time to learning what all the different parts do. Emmykins is not a bot, no. She just, she's very friendly. She likes to greet everyone that comes in, chats. If I could make a bot that good, I probably would. No. And if she was a bot, I wouldn't be celebrating her birthday. Or maybe I would, I don't know. Wouldn't be that hard to make a bot that says, "Hi, welcome to the channel." I guess that part wouldn't be hard, but then she also says other things. She remembers what everybody does. That's one thing that a bot probably couldn't pull off. Just have triggered replies. I'd have to put all the replies in. Now, if I had a one of those fancy chat bots that they were working on that they had to shut down because they kept learning swear words, then maybe that would work a little bit better. AI it after a while, it will. Well, as you guys know, I'm a computer genius, so that would be no problem for me. No, I'm not a computer genius. I am surprised that I'm even able to get the stream working most days. I watched a lot of tutorials to get everything functioning properly. The hardest part was actually getting the audio to work properly. I live in an old house that's very noisy most of the time. So I had to learn all about condensers and noise gates and expanders and all that stuff that you have to learn if you're doing audio. So pop mic? What about pop mic? Insulation. I have a mic. I have a pop filter. It's more so that the type of mic that I have likes to pick up a lot of sound from all over the place. And I had to do all the filters in OBS to get it functioning properly. Yeah, there's a white noise filter on there. So it should only pick up my voice or very loud sounds from my house. So sometimes you'll hear my cat if he comes over here and cries, but most of the time you should just hear me. You shouldn't hear the pipes banging. You shouldn't hear the refrigerator making noise. You shouldn't hear the washing machine going or anything like that, or the air conditioning running, or heater since it's the middle of winter. Although some days I'd like to run the AC considering how hot it gets in here. I stream in a kitchen. I stream in a living room next to a kitchen. So, kind of. I don't have the cam up right now, but you guys have, for those of you who've seen the cam, I have crammed myself into a tiny corner of my living room. I don't have a lot of space in this house. It's very small. There's a lot of junk. So I've made do with what I have. And ideally, I'd move into a bigger house is the main thing, but I would like to kind of carve out a larger space where I could set up a green screen, set up some, I guess, I don't know. It's not a big house. There's not a lot of room to do that kind of stuff. I'm just lucky that I'm able to stream it all. A lot of people don't have that luxury. All right, finally. So we got the Duna Stone and the other thing. Unfortunately, we missed our ride, so now we have to wait again. So let's let the Duna Lander come back around. You're way too lazy? Build a man shed. I would freeze to death if I built a man shed. I guess if I built it insulated and it had heat, it would need to have power anyway, so I guess that's not asking too much, but I wouldn't want to put my computer in a shed. All right, here it comes. We're waiting, we're waiting. So we're gonna let it be right around here-ish. Let's turn on SAS. Bring up the ladder. And prepare to launch. Ready, go. Switch to correct mode. And there we go. We'll try to get out of the thick part of the atmosphere and let our engine do the work. Go 45, I think, is probably best. But the atmospherics aren't terrible at Duna. Oh shoot, we're out of electric charge. Oh boy. Okay, that's not great. I'm actually a little concerned now. Let's just try to get above 50 with what we have, and we'll see if we can't extend out the solar panels. I should have really had those extended before we left. Okay. Should be fine. Should be just fine here. Okay, shut it off. All right. Let's see if we can't get these extended. Although I am worried about them getting blown off. So we'll wait. We don't need to burn right now. Okay, let's see. I could overclock my computer if I had it in the cold. It's already plenty cold in my house. Hey, Urban Ventures here. Yeah, we're just we're stopping into Dune. I had a mission that I needed to finish. And then I picked up a bunch of other missions that now I have to worry about. So I got that going for me, which is nice. How's possibly an alien stream going? I know you like to hang out in both of them on Monday nights. Or really any night that we're not streaming together, right? How's the program going? It was going pretty good until I realized that I don't have power in this craft because I didn't put the solar panels out. But Valentina did manage to snag both blueberries and a Duna stone. So we're pretty good to go on that. And how much farther? Oh boy. All right, well, once we get past 50, we can extend the panels safely, and then we can get our SAS back. Yeah, there's the sun, so we should be good. Alien just wrapped up after some ME3. Nice. She's still got so much more game left to go. It's bumming me out. I don't know how you guys can play the same game every stream. Okay. Power time. Prograde. Let's go full throttle. Let's do it. Yeah. All right, that should be good. Let's get our separation down as low as possible. I think 3.1 is the best we're going to do here. And we need to go normal. You can probably reduce it slightly more. All right, that's as much as we're going to get, I think. We go prograde some more. Keep an eye on that. It disappeared. Go normal again. We just want to get it so that we're as close as we can possibly get. I don't want to spend a whole lot of fuel doing this, but I want to spend enough that we're very close and we can just quickly get an intercept. All right, that looks good. So relative speed is 198, so we've got plenty of delta V then. If all we need to do is spend 198 of it. I'm not sure why we had such a hard time taking off from Duna this most recent time. Urban's a Kerbal addict. I suppose. I feel that way too sometimes, but I don't know, I have a short attention span, so I like to bounce around between games. Maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. I don't know. There have been times where I spent every day playing the same game, so I can understand that feeling. But I don't know if I'd want to stream the same game. I feel like I would get bored, and then if I'm bored, chat would get bored, which is the death sentence for a stream when chat is bored. All right, here we come. Looking nice and close. Oh yeah, that's perfect. That's the kind of intercept that people live for. Are you guys seeing this? This is massive. Now all we have to do is point over there and go dock. Not even a problem. You just worked out you need to watch 323 hours to recommend another game. Well, here's the thing. You can always recommend a game, and I can look into it. The channel point rewards are for when you want to force me to play a game. The channel point reward says you have to play this game next stream. But like with Dead Cells, you brought it up and I thought about it and I said, "Oh, that game looked fun. Let me try it. Let me grab it on Steam and I'll play it on Friday." Barbie Playhouse. I mean, you pay the points, I'll play it. That's the beauty of it. I'm like a dancing monkey at the circus. You throw peanuts at me and I'll dance as much as you want. But at the same time, you could not throw peanuts at me, and because I'm a dancing monkey, I might just dance the way you want anyway. What do I like playing? Oh boy. So I mostly play strategy games or puzzly type games, or games that have some aspect of getting better over time is the best way to describe it. Things like XCOM, where you start off weak and small compared to the aliens, but you get you get better over time. There's a word, but I can't think of the word right now, so just accept that. Stuff like XCOM, stuff like Civilization, Stellaris, Crusader Kings, Kerbal Space Program has aspects of that. And then I also like roguelikes as well, because that also has a different type of progression over time where you get better slowly, whether that's over the course of a single run or over the course of multiple runs. Hades, I do have Hades. I could play that on stream. Hades was a lot of fun when I played it. I never beat Hades though. I did get pretty far. All right, let's slow it on down. So we'll see about getting Hades on stream one of these nights. For the 50K reward, can you just put a list of games that you own? Yeah, actually Ash was asking about that. You can, the easiest way would be to ask if I have something specific, but I am going to put together a list of games that I own, or at least the games that I have on Steam. Took you 2 days, so it took you 48 hours, or it took you 2 play sessions over the course of 2 days? Because those are two very different things. The main issue with getting a list of all the games I own is that they're split between GOG, Steam. I have a few on Epic, but it's mostly just the free ones. And then I have some other games just floating around, although those are probably a lot more obscure, so probably wouldn't come up. Took you 5 hours to beat Hades? Well, dang, that's better than me. Oop. RCS, stop. Now let's fold up solar panels here and get docked, and then we'll head on over to our friendly neighborhood space station. And I think it's about time we go ahead and dock this thing and start thinking about our return trip to Kerbal. Yeah, I should be able to get a list in Excel, right? I just wish there was a way to do it that didn't involve me having to do it, you know? Okay. I'm ready to dock. Let's do it. You gotta switch modes here. All right, rotation is good. Let's scooch her over to the other side. Would I be interested in doing a Half-Life speedrun? I have never played Half-Life, and I'm not really a speedrun type person. So probably not. I would certainly play Half-Life, though. I wouldn't be opposed to that, necessarily. Okay. Now we need to slow down. Probably put this on fine controls. Let's go ahead and face toward the target. Ooh, this is kind of ugly. Half-Life 2 is fun to play. I'm sure it is. I never got into Half-Life. The first-person shooters that I'm most familiar with are Battlefield 2 and Battlefield 2142. And then after that, I didn't play first-person shooters after that. That was back in my high school days, when I still had the time and energy to put towards getting good at the game, or getting good at that kind of game. One of the reasons I like turn-based strategy games is that you have time to think about your actions, and it's not determined by your reflexes necessarily. The worst choices, really? I thought Battlefield 2 was a ton of fun. Okay, Nabby, can you hop out and repack the parachutes, I guess? Those all packed up before I forget. And we can grab the science as well. Is there any science here? No, already took it out. I bet I forgot to do take data. 12 bits of data. That's pretty good. So many other... Okay, you got to remember, this is Battlefield 2. There weren't that many options back in 2003. It's not like today when you have a ton of first-person shooter options. Okay. Half-Life. Yeah. Half-Life, did Half-Life have multiplayer though? Because that's what I liked. Was the big maps. Okay, grab it, get on board. And then Valentina, we're gonna switch over to here. All right, there we go. And finally, now we need to get a rendezvous with the Dun station. So let's go ahead and do that. This is going to be a little tricky. How many? Uh-oh. Looks like we actually need to slow down here. So we'll go over to here, or maybe this orange one, and we'll change our orbit so we're slowing down so we can rendezvous with the Dun station. Ooh. Urban Venture coming in with the Counter-Strike talk. I didn't play Counter-Strike. I played another game that was essentially Counter-Strike, but I don't remember what it was called. But it was basically Counter-Strike. And it's bumming me out that I don't remember. Me and my friend used to play it at LAN parties. And by LAN party, I mean I would take my computer over to his house and we would play against the bots. There's a co-op mod for Half-Life. So I'm not gonna argue too much about first-person shooters because I do not know that much about them and I don't really play them. So if you're gonna recommend me a first-person shooter, odds are I do not have it. Oh, I'm going the wrong way here. This engine needs to be off. There we go. And then we just burn until we have a nice rendezvous. If only we could share Steam without me logging into your PC. Oh yeah, that's true. You can do that now. My friends are always using my games when I'm at work. Stealing my games. I don't know. I guess I told them they could, right? Family. Yeah, that's I do that with my friends. It's pretty cool. And again, I don't have an issue with buying games to play, especially if they're pretty cheap. But it's more of a, I already have a ton of games. Why should I buy more games kind of thing? Kick them off? No, I don't need to kick them. I kick them off if they're using it when I need to get on. But I don't mind them using my games because I have a lot more games than they do. Mostly because I have a real job and they do not. All right, we're closing in here. Let's finish the rendezvous. Oh yeah, this is gonna be easy. Nice, easy rendezvous, then do a quick docking, and then get the transfer vehicle into a higher orbit ready to go. You have 3 to 4 people using your account. I think you can check it in your profile if you're concerned about it. Because it's tied to a specific PC, not someone else's account. Okay. You're not concerned. You don't really use Steam? I think about how much I use Steam sometimes, and it's kind of ridiculous. But I suppose it's better than some of the alternatives, right? GOG is probably the next best one. I used to use so this is gonna, obviously I've already dated myself a lot, but there was a company called, oh, I don't remember what the company was called, but the program was called Impulse, and it was like Steam where you could buy games and download them. And I bought a few games on that service, then GameStop bought it, and then GameStop shut it down. So all the games that I bought, I have no way to access anymore, which luckily wasn't a lot of games, and they were re-released on Steam. So ultimately I can still play them, I just have to buy them again, which for some of them I did because they're really good. But that is always a possibility with digital media, right? So a lot of people had concerns with Steam when it first came on the scene. People are like, why would you want all your games in one place when you could blankety blankety blank? And well, the convenience, man. It's all right there. I can install, I can uninstall, click of a button. What's the royalty rights with emulators? I don't think there's any royalty rights. If you mean like copyright issues, emulation in the US at least is 100% legal. The copyright problems come into play when you start getting the ROMs for the games. So you can dump your own ROMs, but you can't just download a ROM off the internet. Legally, anyways. So that's what you were thinking? Yeah. As far as on Twitch goes, Twitch doesn't allow it theoretically. I don't know if anyone's gotten in trouble for it. Like if I was gonna say play the Pokemon trading card game from the Game Boy Advance, I would have to be in Twitch's good graces, I would have to have a Game Boy Advance with a hookup to a capture card or something. But if I just played it on an emulator, well, who's gonna know the difference? It looks the same. Someone emulated Bloodborne. Yeah, it's not emulation, it's a demake, right? I was actually watching somebody play that earlier. It looked kind of interesting. It reminded me a lot of a cross between Majora's Mask and Resident Evil. Dan? Who is Dan? I don't know who Dan is. I'm assuming that's the streamer you're referring to. Can you say his? I'm sure you can say whoever's name. I said Germa earlier, so it's only fair. All right, so there is our target. So we just need to have Valentina hop in. So Valentina. Okay, Valentina transfer. Transfer to here. Then Nabby needs to get out. Grab all the data. And then store it. I guess I didn't need to do all this. I could have done it a better way. Then hop in, board. Oh, Dan Giesling. Oh, everybody knows about Dan Giesling. He's wasn't he a gaming journalist? Or still is a gaming journalist? Roll 1. No other streamer exists when in Stars chat. No, you exist. I don't have a problem with other people watching other streamers. This isn't some kind of weird Twilight Zone. All right, so I am going to undock. Valentina is going to take this thing over and dock it. If I can get a nice lock on here. Not too far in a few places. All right, there is our target. Can I not set that as target? Oh, I don't have it set. I see. There we go. I still had the other thing set as target. Okay, well, I still can't do it. But that's probably fine. That's right, I am the streamer TM. That's me. You cap it, you're fine. I know. we're all here for a good time. Except for Alien. I don't know what happened to her. She finished up, but she's not over here. She's probably eating. Ooh. Here we go. Maybe she went over to Gandalf's stream. All right, let's start moving here. She went out for, yeah, she usually eats after her stream, which is crazy to me because I get home and I wolf down dinner in 10 minutes before I got a stream. I can't imagine waiting till after. I would be starving, and then I go to bed right after the stream. So it would be really weird to eat and then go to bed. All right, up we go. Oh, she would like a, ooh, cranky AF. Who's cranky? Because I'd be hungry? That's entirely possible, actually. I just don't like to eat right before bed, also. I think, like, scientifically or whatever, nutritionally, you're not supposed to eat 2 hours before bed. Or maybe it's you're not supposed to brush your teeth so soon after you eat, which if I was going to go to bed, I'd have to brush my teeth. So there needs to be some kind of gap. Cheese doesn't give you lucid dreams. Does it? 1 to 2 hours before bed is best. So I eat around 5:45. I start streaming at 6. And then I usually go till 9 or 9:30. And then we go raid somebody. I stick around for maybe 5 minutes, and then I'm in bed right after that. Cheese affects your dreams? Really? That's so cool. I would start eating more cheese, but I'm not sure my stomach would appreciate that. All right. We're going to have a bit of an issue here, aren't we? That's not, we can just EVA over there. Never mind. Let's see. Fruit doesn't digest properly. Meat just sits, and when you sleep, your metabolism slows down. And then Urban says it's the bacteria in cheese that causes you to have a thing. And then Emmykins chimes in with, luckily I have an amazing mod that makes sure I'm fed before my stream. That's true. Emmykins is great. I bet if she was streaming, she'd get a lot more viewers than me, to be honest. Luckily for me, she doesn't know how to stream yet, so I'm safe. Lucid dreams with cheese is an actual thing. Okay, then. I'll have to give it a shot, then. There's a lot of information here. Collab? Yeah, I don't know what we would play if we were going to do a collab. I mean, she'd be sitting right next to me. Emmykins collab. We'll see. We'll make that a long-term goal. Get her on the stream. The main issue is she doesn't have her own PC. Co-op Enter the Gungeon? Oh, she would suck at that game. And I already suck at that game, so we'd both suck at it. We just recently beat It Takes Two together. And she had a hard enough time with that, so I don't know if she's ready for a roguelike. Portal 2 might work, actually. That's a good suggestion. We'll have to see. Does that have split screen, or does it just have online co-op? Because that sort of affects what we can do. Are you guys seeing this Z fighting over here? If that's what it is. What the heck is going on over there? It's lighting up like a Christmas tree. It's fine if I'm close by. But as soon as I'm over here, it just starts flashing. Crazy. Let's try to get this docking maneuver done with. Wasted enough time already. So that was what made It Takes Two really good. It had split screen. So since she doesn't have her own computer, or at least not one that can handle games, she was able to just play on mine. With the controller, I used the keyboard, and it worked out really well. The story got a little crazy if you guys haven't played it. Highly recommended if you have a partner who does not normally game. Portal 2 has added new split screen option. Ooh. All right. We might be able to give it a go then. All right, we are almost there. We just got to watch out for the solar panels. And then dock, and then send Valentina to go EVA towards that other ship. So if she doesn't want to commit to anything just yet, then we'll talk about it offline. Urban's been trying to convince his GF to play some games, but she doesn't like the pressure. That's fair. So being on stream comes super easily to me because I don't know how to say naturally want to be the center of attention type person, because in real life I'm very much not that, or maybe I am and I don't recognize it. But I have no issues streaming. I don't feel the pressure that some people feel. I don't feel the burnout that people say they get. I just like being on stream. It's fun. It's the highlight of my day. Ooh, okay. Let's so we got everything set up. Let's turn off the engine. Oh, it's already turned off. Good. Then we just need to twist it. Is this a thing that I can do? Oh, I see. Okay, how does this alignment thing work? Oh, okay. Oh. All right. So how do we get it to be spun around? Urban, do you know? Do I just need to twist it? Yeah, I do have a controller. So that's how we played It Takes Two, is I've got a controller and then I've got the keyboard and mouse. Doesn't seem like this is doing anything. Oh, it is doing something. Ah, this stupid thing again. There we go. You guys could just lock yourself. That would be great. All right, what's going on with this? Oh, that's not normal. Urban, how do I fix this? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What have I done? Okay, hang on. We're gonna go to the Space Center. Oh, God. Do we need to get the engineer out, decouple, and reattach? Okay, we'll try that in a second. I don't know what the heck was going on there. That is not ideal. The Dun Station, yes. Oh boy. Once again, why you should never... Okay, well, this is just getting worse and worse, isn't it? Decouple. It won't let me. Okay, then. Well, Valentina. I can't even interact now. Where's Valentina? I see. Okay. All right. Kill me undock, please. All right, there we go. So let's go ahead. Luckily, I brought an engineer, so all is fine. That's a fused port. All right. That's okay. Luckily, I do have an engineer on board who can fix this, which is why we brought one. So hop on out, buddy. Can I grab this? How do I grab this? Urban? Go. I'm in the build mode right now. Move. Exit construction mode. Enter construction mode. All right, buddy. Come on. I really need you to grab this part. This is really bad. Out of range? Can I save and reload and heart? No, not really. I don't think so anyway. So it's just not gonna let me grab it. All right. So there's no way to grab this, is what I'm hearing here. You think it's bugged? Well, okay then. Let's see if we can grab the other one at least. Okay, we can grab the other one. That's good. Can we grab this thing? We can grab this one. That's fine. But we can't grab that. All right, so that docking port is kaput. That's fine. That's why we have two. So we'll just flip the station over. Control from here. Point down. And switch over to Valentina. Oh, that's not Valentina. And we'll go land. Oh, why is KSP so buggy? Nobody knows. All right, so we just won't mess around with the twisting this time, since that seemed to be causing the problem. And I don't want to run out of... Yeah, we got plenty on our propellant. It's probably been turned into a new craft, and you can't move the root part of a new craft, unfortunately. Oh. Interesting. Can I attach another part to it and then... I'm just thinking. Can I change the root of a new craft or no? All right, so we'll let... It's fine if that docking port is wrecked. I can just add another one later if I need to. They're pretty light. You can just bring them. As long as there's at least one docking port that I can use. That's all that matters to me. It's one part? You don't think I could? Okay. You could probably dock to it, but you risk another more serious bug. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother. I'll just delete it and worry about it. We'll chalk it up to docking failure causing damage to the structure of the station. That seems reasonable enough to me. We're gonna come in for a landing. We still, oh boy. All right, the lander's getting a little far away here. We're gonna need to switch back over to it at some point. Hey, uptime. I've been streaming for 2 hours and 17 minutes. Wowzers. So that's one of the commands that works. I don't know what... I disabled most of the other commands because I didn't need them for anything. Okay, slow it down, slow it down. So Urban, did I tell you what movies we watched this weekend? Because you know we've been doing our movie nights, right? All right, there we go. We're not going to do any twisting or whatever. We're just going to let it be. All right. So yeah, we'll just delete that when we get a chance. What is this? This is called Dune Station Lander for whatever reason. We watched 2 movies back to back. It was a double feature. We watched Adventures in Babysitting and Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. So 2 babysitter themed comedies from the 80s, the 90s, at general time. Okay, Valentina. You're gonna get out. At least we didn't lose Valentina to some horrible glitch, right? And did I... Okay, there's the data. I'll just chuck it into the science lab. And then send Valentina over. Store experiments. Yes. And then we'll just EVA Valentina over to the other craft. You've not heard of those? They were both pretty great. Adventures in Babysitting was solid. Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead was actually really good. I was not expecting it to be better than Adventures in Babysitting. They're great, I don't want to call them period pieces because they take place in the time that they were made, but they're a good time capsule of that time, the pre-cell phone era, where if you had a problem, you were screwed. Those movies would not, well, Adventures of Babysitting wouldn't work. I think you could probably pull off Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Although the idea of a parent going on a 2-month vacation and leaving their kids with an old lady seems kind of far-fetched even then, I think. But I suppose there is a market for long-term babysitting, probably. I don't actually know. Okay, well, hopefully we don't run out of EVA propellant during this spacewalk here. We're multiple kilometers away. We're halfway between them now, about. So, it's equidistant. You found them all? You found all what? What have you found? All the commands? All the babysitters? All the commands. Okay. You didn't find them all. Did you find Discord? Yeah. It's an interesting idea. The Because they remade Adventures in Babysitting pretty recently. And they have not remade it. Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, obviously. You would have heard about it. But they did remake Adventures of Babysitting. I think it was a Disney Channel original movie, maybe, or it was on Disney Plus. You can look up people's commands through Nightbot, but I don't have Nightbot. I have Moobot. Will Nightbot tell you what commands I have on Moobot? I don't actually know. If you know, please tell me. That sounds fun. Another, this is totally changing the subject. An idea I had for a stream would be one where I take quizzes, like BuzzFeed quizzes or stuff like that. Like, what kind of salami are you, or something to that effect. So if you guys are interested in, that would probably be a Tuesday stream, I suppose, with Alien. But if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, let me know. Okay. So first things first, we need to unset target. We need to extend out our orbit so we're not potentially colliding with the station. We'll go to maybe 90. There we go. Okay. I can use vote to make a poll. I'm not going to make a poll. There's only like 5 people here. I want to gather feedback through chat. What kind of salami are you? That's so stupid it might actually exist. I feel like salami is more of a... Salami is in its own subcategory of Italian processed meats though, right? Salami and bologna and... What's the other stuff? I can't remember. They're all Italian, so I don't remember what they're called. But you guys know what I'm talking about. Mortadella. There's one. All right, so we need to get rid of this disgusting thing. Terminate. Yes. There we go. So hopefully that fixes. That's a nice sacrifice to the Kraken. It'll stop bothering me now. Let's check back in on the station. All right. So this looks like it's working. Yep. So I'm never going to mess with alignment angle ever again. That clearly does not function the way that it is intended to. I don't think I have any spare parts in here besides maybe a fuel hose and some EVA repair kits. So we'll need to get a docking port out here eventually. Preserved processed meats. Whoa, I don't trust docking ports? I think that's such an obscure thing that I don't trust alignment angle on docking ports. I guess I technically don't. You can add it to the list. It might be specific enough that people will be like, oh yeah, totally. Oh, on Urban's channel, I have a special list of all the things that I do not trust in Kerbal Space Program. It's a very long list. But people seem to enjoy it. All right. It's done. It's over. Let's turn off all the engines. There we go. You'll put port rotation. Oh, port rotation is good. There's a few things that I'm pretty confident in KSP. It's not everything in the game, although it is a lot of things. The biggest one is robotics, obviously. But things like rovers, things that tend to fail for no reason, I prefer not to use. Okay, let's see what it's going to take to finish the tech tree. Specialized electronics would give us the fuel cell array. Got RTGs. There's still quite a bit we need to go through here, including metamaterials. I can't believe you have to go all the way to metamaterials to get access to like the most important station making part in the game. And I don't know that we need any of these to make any craft that I'm planning to make, but let's go ahead and catch up on aerodynamics because that's pretty relatively cheap to grab. Field science would give us some important stuff. Advanced motors is probably not necessary right now. Oh, you want me to keep coming up with stuff? I was worried that it was getting too long. I'll see if there's anything that comes up on the stream that I don't trust. But yeah, port rotation for sure. I'm still a little iffy on EVA building. Like, as you saw, it has some interesting quirks. Okay, Urban likes it. That's good. So there is a save. You can save the game. You just can't load it. So that's not super useful. But hey, you know what? As I think that's all the stuff I wanted to get done in this career today. Why don't we head over to the other career, the top secret career, Kraken space program, and take a look. Yeah, the physics warp I don't trust. That's on there. We're gonna take a look. Let's recover the Kraken here. And I want to show Urban how the supergiant flies. I haven't shown this one on stream yet. So Saturday afternoon, I'm sitting around, I'm thinking, wait a minute. Did I not bring it over yet? Yeah, that is the supergiant. So Saturday morning, I'm sitting around thinking, you know, I had such a fun time making that Kraken drive. Why don't I perfect it and then use it on other things? So you guys know the Kraken drive. All I did was take that part off of the plane and stick it onto this rocket. There's 8 of these guys. I loaded up a lot of SAS because this thing gets a little unwieldy. And we're gonna go ahead and launch it. Let's get Jeb. We'll put Bill and Bob on here to keep the Kraken fed. This section of the VOD is confidential and must be burned after you go off. Yeah. No, it's okay. If people have stuck around this long watching a VOD, then they can feel free to learn all this secret stuff. So here it is. It sits just like a regular rocket. I'm gonna make sure you have SAS on and then just go. And it just works. Can you believe it? It just goes. It is a little funky. In fact, I'm a little concerned right now that it's not turning the direction I want it to go. But I assume that has something to do with the way the Kraken drives are oriented. So there we go. We're going into orbit. It's a beautiful thing. You never need rockets again. This needs a choir singing sound effect. Oh, actually, you know what? Hang on. I have the perfect thing. Might be able to turn. I'm turning right now by using the SAS that I've loaded this thing up with. All right, so just hang on for a second. I have the perfect soundtrack for this. Oh, okay. Started playing a little too quickly. What do you guys think? Is this the perfect song or what? It's a banger, that's for sure. You guys know what this is from? It's an older game, but it checks. This isn't from Pokemon. This is an orchestral remix of the DuckTales Moon theme. No way. Look at it go. We're going to the moon, everyone. Look at it. Look at how stable it is now. It's amazing. Here we come, man. We're coming for you. All right, that's enough of that. So I was actually, when I was trying to work on that video yesterday. Oh, look, it's getting the heating already. When I was trying to make the video yesterday, I was trying to use that song and put it in sync with the plane launching, but I couldn't figure out how to use DaVinci Resolve to fade the music in. I think I really need to watch a guide or something on how to use the program. Let's turn that off. Our Apple Apps is already in orbit. So everybody who's not watching the stream right now is missing out on this fascinating creature. So the Kraken taketh away, but the Kraken also giveth, if you know how to treat it properly. We may have lost a docking port, but in exchange, we gained the most valuable gift of them all. The Kraken Drive. Whoa. My emote names are so long. Yeah. It kind of sucks because it automatically generates them. And I can't change the prefix until or if I ever become a partner. So tell all your friends, if I can get up to 100 average viewers, then they should have no reason not to let me be a partner. All right, Jeb. Let's see how far we can take this thing. You can't. It's 75. Oh. 25% closer. Yeah, it's 75 minimum, but they actually look at your numbers. So the more you can get above that, the better chance you have of actually getting them to extend the offer to you, because they obviously, being Twitch, can pick who they want to have as a partner. So, Urban, what do you think? What can I add to this? Because obviously, this thing flies, not a problem. I don't know how well it would handle a payload, necessarily. Like if I, for whatever reason, decided to bring fuel along. I don't know how much fuel it could realistically carry, because this is relatively light for a craft, given the fact that it is... Oh, okay, we should probably try to circularize, right? So obviously these 8 Kraken drives can lift this payload, which is, you know, just a regular station setup. Whether it can land is something I need to test. I could make this the engine module of an even larger craft. Oh boy. I mean, it is scalable, right? Each engine is its own little module. You can just stack more of them as you need them. But the question is, what do I want to build? Partnership. So affiliate is more or less automatic. You get the 50 followers, you get the 3 average viewers, and then a few other things. And you click the button and you're basically good to go. With partnerships, they are a lot more selective about who they let be a partner. I mean, that's so far in the distance. Urban is way closer than me. And he's at about 40-ish, I think, is what I see when I'm in there. I can change them then. I can't change them now. It automatically generates the prefix for my emotes. So I don't like how long they are. It has a number in there for some reason, but it's not a 0, even though that's what I would want it to be. Look at that, we circularized the orbit. What do you think, Urban? Is this good? Does it work with physics warp? Oh, let's find out. All right, so let's just go full throttle. And what is it, Alt? No, it does not. It does not work with physics warp. At least not in a way that is useful, but I don't think you need physics warp because the acceleration is better than a... Yeah, now it's the whole thing is knocked out of whack. Oh, this one got beat up. Yeah, so don't use physics warp with this thing. Very important. You have to be affiliate to have emotes, but you can't change the prefix of the emote names. I mean, I can show you here. Let me find it. Where is it? Which change emote prefix. Wait a minute. So you can only change it as an affiliate if you have changed your username. So I'll plop that in here so you can see. So why can't I choose my own prefix? Self-chosen prefixes are reserved as a partner-only benefit. I can change my prefix if I change my username, but I can only change my username once every 60 days. The French call it a hamburger icon. But that's just what everybody calls it, isn't it? That's so shit. I know, but that's just, it's Twitch. Like, what do you want them to do? I just play by their rules. At least they have emotes, right? They don't have to give me that. Could be like YouTube. Could maybe use this like Hermes and the Martian as an interplanetary craft. Yeah, so here, let's go ahead and launch it again. And we'll see how fast we can get it going. Because when I tested the XK1, I managed to get into orbit, and then from there, no, I didn't get to choose my prefix. It auto-generates based on your username. And we're off. Let's try to keep it nice and steady here. You had options? What? I didn't get any options. That's not fair. Oh well. Well, I'll just wait till I'm a partner to get it. I mean, you just click on it, right? It doesn't matter how big the actual text is. Look at those atmospheric effects. Yeah, maybe. But I don't know. I didn't see any options when I did it. Maybe I missed them. Either way, it wouldn't have been something that I would want. And I know there's a lot of people that the first 5 letters of their username are stars. It kind of reminds me of the usernames if you try to make a WoW account or something and that username's already taken, they'll just randomly generate numbers on the end. I should probably watch my apoapsis here. So Urban, when can we expect to see one of these in your career mode? I know I asked you that this morning. How would you classify this? It's obviously a bug or a glitch or something, but is it cheating? I mean, it's not really cheating any more than clipping parts together is. You have a lot of emotes from I have a lot of emotes from other channels too. It can be a pain to like scroll through them all. It's an exploit. There you go. That's a good word for it. It takes advantage of a quirk in the physics system of Kerbal Space Program to fly without using any kind of actual propellant or engine or anything. It just works. It's like Fallout or Skyrim. Definitely a glitch / exploit. Yeah. Okay, so we're in agreement. It's definitely something that's not intended. But the fact that it works so well is kind of impressive. It's forcing physics. So all it's really doing, and I can explain this for you guys who haven't seen it. So these are both magnetically attracted to each other. But I made this one 200% and this one 0. So this one is going to pull itself towards this one, but this one's not going to pull back with the same amount of force. And that's all it needs. And I've never played Scrap Mechanic, no. But I have seen it, and it looks fun. So Urban would do it similar to future tech engines after completing all your other goals, but we'll see. Yeah, just say, I completed the tech tree, now we have to go even further beyond. If we're ever going to go interstellar. Oh, to simulate tech engines. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, you're basically saying we've invented antimatter drives. How can we simulate that in the game? Ta-da! And they're very easy to make once you know the trick for it. Now we can't, so we can do regular time warp just fine. We just can't have the drives engaged during physics warp or the Kraken will strike. He does not like to be rushed. And there we go. The landing gear ones require power. How do the landing gear ones work? Because people were talking about that, or ladders, stuff like that. And I feel like those are maybe more finicky, but I don't know because I don't know how they work. Other than that they involve ladders or landing gear. There we go. All right. So let's see how far this baby can go. Glitch clipping. Is that what it is? You just clip the part so that it extends into something else, causing infinite force? I really wish that I could figure out what the acceleration on this thing was. Because it just goes. It's crazy. It's almost better than than a regular rocket engine. Obviously, the fact that it doesn't use fuel is a huge plus. All right, there we go. We're now on track to leave the Kerbal system. Oh, this game. Why is it so finicky when I try to do the alarm clock stuff? You know how gear jumps so much? It's turning that into actual usable force. Okay. I do know how they jump so much. It's very frustrating. Using clip mechanics. You just stick the landing gear in there and hope for the best, I suppose. All right. So we're about to switch over to solar orbit. Now comes the fun part. We're going to crash. Actually, you know what? Let's see how far out we can get this thing going. Oh, the stock alarm clock? Yeah. Well, it's more of a... I can't click on the button sometimes because it just doesn't do what I want it to do. All right, let's see how far this thing can go. I mean, obviously you can go an infinite amount because it doesn't have any propellant. So it just goes forever. But we'll see how far the game will let us go before it starts causing trouble for us. Yippee! Man, Joule's really far out there. Holy cow. I am not looking forward to my Joule mission planning, which I'm going to have to do sometime. If not this month, then definitely next month. Hotkeys. What about hotkeys? Explain yourself. For the alarm menu. Is that a mod? Anyway, so this thing is already... This would get us to Joule. Alright, no problem. It would obviously get us to Elu, because anything we can get to Joule can get to Elu. And then it just keeps going. You get a little uneasy seeing Kerbal in solar orbit on the way to those outer planets seems so remote. Yeah, because compared to Joule, Duna and Eve are right next door. All right, look at it go. Can you believe it? It's almost unbelievable. How much delta V have we put into this already? Zoop. And we broke the game. There it is, chat. We did it. It's true, the real solar system is like that. Jupiter is way the heck out there. But it's so big you can still see it with your eye. So we are on an escape trajectory from the solar system. What is it called? Does it have a name in canon? Because people call it the Kerbal system or whatever, but I don't think it ever gets an official name. All right, so we've gone escape. Now let's turn around and do the opposite. Yep. Jupiter moves the sun. Oh, well, technically all planets or any body affects others, right? Because is the center of gravity between Jupiter and the sun outside the mass of the sun? I don't think so. So we went all the way out. Now let's go all the way in. This is so cool. I'm glad I experimented with this because I don't typically mess with glitches and exploits, but doing it on a separate save with a kind of an open mind towards this could be a real thing that exists in the future. The sun doesn't sit in the middle of our system due to the pole of Jupiter. That's probably true. I'm not enough of an astrophysicist to know one way or the other. Oh, you made my emote laugh or think. Laughing emote thanks. So this thing can easily go out of the solar system. It can easily crash into the sun. No muss, no fuss, just pure. What do I have something? Those are the launch sites. Okay. I was gonna say, I don't think I have any flights going. I've been reverting everything. ARG? LOL? Can it leave Eve? Oh, you know what? That's a great question. Can it leave Eve? Let's set it as target and go there and find out. I don't know if it can enter Eve, honestly. But while we're here, we might as well try. Okay, this is dumb. Why am I doing this? This isn't gonna get... Oh, wait. No. Orbit. Okay. We don't have a rendezvous window, but we can make one with infinite delta V, right? We'll see if I can do it. It's not designed to enter atmosphere, but I suppose with enough delta V, anything's possible. We can just slow down a lot. One of the ideas that I had actually, and I'll wait till we have a decent enough target locked on thing here to explain, was I was going to, instead of doing the 4 engines on the side, I was going to have just one on either side with rotors so you could rotate it around in order to change direction. And then I remembered it's a spaceship, it can just change the direction it's facing. So I didn't end up going with that, which would have been a lot more complicated, to be honest. All right. So this is our closest approach. But what if we just pointed at it and went there? In thrust we trust. It's true though. So obviously in the regular game, you need to balance everything around the fact that you do not have infinite thrust. But with this, you can do whatever you want. And if you make a mistake, who cares? Just turn around and fix it. Extra robotics is Kraken bait. Yeah, I'm already having enough trouble with the pistons. I couldn't use the telescoping pistons because they would just get stuck. These ones are a little more stable, I guess. So I managed to get them working. Oh, we're just gonna like shoot past Kerbal, aren't we? No? Maybe we're not. Nope. Okay, we avoided it. So in stock KSP, if you're just using regular engines, you have to wait for your transfer window to minimize the amount of delta V you need to get somewhere. Which is why you have to do the Hohmann transfers, right? But here, I'll reiterate, with infinite delta V, it doesn't matter. It's kind of like playing Outer Wilds. In Outer Wilds, if you're trying to go from Timberhearth to Brittle Hollow or whatever, you don't have to set up a transfer. You just point and you go, and you get there because you don't have a limited amount of fuel. Also, the solar system is very small. So this is almost kind of like that, except the solar system is much, much larger. So we're still going, but it's starting to turn things a little funky. And unfortunately, I can't physics warp, so we're just going to have to roll with it. So I think the plan is going to be for at least this Saturday, I'd like to do some Kraken space program stuff using these craft. All right. Well, clearly this is going to take all day, so I'm not going to bother with it. Just go ahead and revert. So I think on Saturday we'll play around with these a little more and experiment. Monday will obviously continue to be a regular game. And of course, Wednesday is auction not included. Tuesday is the possibly an alien collab stuff. And Friday, at least this Friday, is going to be Monster Rancher because that's what Emmykins wants for her birthday. And then we'll see from there. No Man's Sky and Outer Wilds work with orbits being a thing, but very unimportant. I seem to recall that originally in No Man's Sky, the planets would rotate, but people kept complaining because they didn't know why it was getting dark. Maybe that's an urban legend or something, but I seem to recall somebody mentioning something about that in No Man's Sky. Obviously, that doesn't have anything to do with what you're saying, but I thought it was interesting that people don't quite get how planets work in real life. They just assume you point and you go. And I've watched people play Outer Wilds who just could not get the hang of the fact that everything was moving around them and they needed to go with the flow a little more. So yeah, that's what we got. So thank you everybody who stuck around this long. What a long, strange trip it's been. The amount of people I have to remind a year is in orbit of the sun is scary. Yeah, it's weird to think about because it doesn't feel like it. So thanks everyone. I guess we'll go raid Gandalf because he's, you know, my go-to raider guy. Okay, hang on. I'm getting whispers here. Not giving to me and not spending your points. Ash, are you still having problems? It looked like you figured it out. I just saw your whispers. And hang on, I'm gonna get this raid set up while you guys are here. I had to click off. All right, there we go. So you have not sorted it? Don't worry about it. Okay, fair enough. Let's set it up. We're gonna go over to Gandalf. He's playing Final Fantasy V. I thought he was playing 6. Okay, well, whatever. We'll go over there. So again, thank you, everybody. I will hopefully see you tomorrow. We will be on my stream. Possibly an alien will be here. We're going to be looking at something weird. I don't know exactly what yet. And it'll be great. And if I don't see you tomorrow, hopefully I'll see you at the very least next Monday for our normal time. And here we go.